Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to bring you guys a full coverage foundation, contour, highlight routine for pale skin, just like an updated everyday kind of thing. Even though this is a little bit more than everyday, this is going to be my skin prep, my primer, my foundation, my color corrector, my cream contour, my powder, my concealer, my highlight, my blush, my powder contour. It's everything. By the way, my nail color, even though it's a little chipped, it's everything. It's Rum Cake by NYX. Highly recommend. Because I have skin on the drier side, I do like to lay down an oil before I put my foundation on. I find that just keeps my skin hydrated throughout the day. This is the Rodial Snake Booster Oil. This is for fine lines and wrinkles. I typically just take a couple drops of that, rub it between my hands, and then press it right onto my skin. This oil is more like a dry oil, like it's not super oily on the skin. It really absorbs into the skin. Next step is foundation primer. The foundation primer I prefer and have for probably 6 months now is the Anna Sui foundation primer. I love the scent of this. It smells like roses. It really prolongs the wear of my foundation, and I noticeably see the difference between when I do not wear a foundation primer, specifically this one, and when I do. And I roughly take 2 pumps of that, and same as the oil, I just kind of press it into my skin. I do use a ton of skin prep items, but the key to great makeup is great skin. I also like to put down some sort of pore filling, pore smoothing texture primer. This is by the Estee Edit. It's the Pore Vanishing Stick. I've only used this a couple times and I really do like it. I typically use my NYX pore filler, but this does just as well. I try and concentrate this only on the areas where I need it. I find that if I put it all over, my foundation becomes a little bit too slick on the base. Now is when, if you wanted to color correct, you absolutely could. Do a little green over top of any blemishes, a little bit of a salmon tone underneath the eyes. A great option for that is the Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting palette. This is in the shade 20. It is meant for a fair skin tone, and this shade up here is absolutely perfect for underneath the eyes. Since I'm going out and doing a full face, I'm just going to place a little bit of that underneath my eye just to color correct that dark circle. The key to a great color correction is not applying too much product. If you go too heavy with the product, it's just going to mix with your foundation, your concealer, and then you're going to see the orange underneath your eyes, or wherever you have color corrected. Almost dry brush it on, and what I mean by that is I have a little bit of product on here, and by the time I buff it into my skin, the cream almost dries. And when I refer to dry brushing, that is what I mean. Color correcting isn't going to change anatomy, so where I have a little divot in my eye socket right here, it's not going to change that, but it will color correct the darkness I have right along here. Before I share with you guys my favorite foundation combo, I wanted to show you this from my pale girls who have that amazing foundation and you like the finish of it, you like the consistency, but the color's a little bit off. The NYX Pro Foundation Mixture in white is going to save the day for you. Every pale girl needs this because foundations are really hard to find light enough for our skin. Mix this in about 1/3 part this, 2/3 part your foundation. It's going to lighten it, or however light you need it to be. 1/3 works for me. This is amazing. I haven't used any other foundation lighteners, but this one is a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend. Now, my favorite foundation, I mix 2 of them together when I'm going all out. It's kind of like if I'm just, going to work and I don't need like full face like all day long, I will just wear my Makeup Forever. I'm in the shade Y205. I always say 2Y05. But if I'm like going out full force like makeup, I will mix these 2 together. So the Makeup Forever and then the Kat Von D in shade 42. This thing is so fucking light. If you're a pale girl, you need it in your life. I've had this thing for like 3 years, I swear to God. I take about 1/3 part Kat Von D, 2 parts Makeup Forever. The reason I like mixing these 2 together is because I get the longevity wear and the waterproofness of the Kat Von D, but I also get the lightweight, beautiful finish on camera and in photos of the Makeup Forever. I find that the 2 together just create the best foundation possible. And I like to apply this with a brush first off. This is just by Makeup Forever. I just dot this all over my face and you can see the pigmentation of it. It's like full coverage. Once it's placed on, I like to blend it out with a beauty blender. I love a beauty blender. You can't get me away from it. It just gives you the most flawless finish, especially when you're mixing two different bases of foundations. I find that the beauty blender, it just mixes them so well. You need one. Since I did color correct underneath the eyes, and if you guys do as well, do not swipe around your eye or else you're just going to move that orange shade. Just pat. And it's going to pack the color on top, and it is actually going to color correct. For me, a great concealer is everything. There are three that I personally love. First is the NYX Got You Covered in the shade 01 Ivory. This is a waterproof kind of dewy finish. You set your under eye concealer anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Love this. Super full coverage, very fair in color. Love it. NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is a little bit drier underneath the eyes, but the pigmentation is amazing and the color more yellow based, but so fair. And the concealer I've been obsessed with lately is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. This is in the shade R20. I find that this is the closest to the, perfect concealer shade that I envision in my mind. I really love it, and the pigmentation is amazing. I like to throw a little line underneath my eyes, go around my nose a wee bit. If I have any spots around my face, I just like to dabble on those. I don't place my concealer in a massive V underneath my eyes because my beauty blender kind of does that for me, and I find if I do that, then I'm going to have concealer way down here, and that's quite frankly a waste of product. I just place it where I need it on top of that orange, and then I buff it in. Now is when you could absolutely do a cream contour on an everyday basis. I don't do a cream contour just because I find that it is very heavy on my skin, especially because I do have dry skin and I'm wearing all of this. I don't necessarily need that. But two great options for you guys if you want to do a cream contour. This is the NYX Cream and Highlight Contour Palette. Gorgeous cool tone, like this shade up here is everything. And again, the Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Palette in shade 20. Just stunning palettes to do a cream contour with. Now comes the setting of the foundation. I find that finding the perfect loose powder is just as important as a great foundation. I have two here that I absolutely love. First is the Mehron. This is the Celebre Pro Loose Powder in light medium. And then also the MAC Select Sheer. This is in NC5. Both of these powders are so beautiful and make you look absolutely flawless. Today I'm going to go with the MAC Select Sheer just because I've been loving this shit lately and I want to use it today. I like to take it on a powder puff. This is a Forever Puff. I just grab a little bit in there, and then I usually do underneath my eyes first, and I will go in with my powder puff and do this, or I will go in with my beauty blender. Doing it with the beauty blender really does create like just such a beautiful finish, especially for your under eyes, so you could do it either way. Before I move on to contour, I'm going to quickly do my brows. I use one of two products on a daily basis, either the Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Brow in shade 50 or the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Black. Back into contour, two products that I cannot live without for my contour. If you're a pale girl, you need one of these in your life, but I highly suggest both of them. NYX Taupe HD Blush in Taupe, and then the Sephora Collection Contour Powder in Tranquil. In comparison, the Sephora is a little bit more cool tone. I love them both though, and sometimes I mix them together as well. I just know that it's so hard to find the NYX blush in Taupe, so I know that if you're around a Sephora, they will absolutely have this in Sephora Collection. My ultimate favorite brush as well. I use this in every single video. This made its way into my life, I want to say a year and a half ago. This is by Tweezerman. It's just a dual fiber contouring brush. This is everything. It just deposits the product so beautifully, makes it for such a natural contour, and the dual fiber, it's just, you need it. I like to follow my natural cheekbone. I do have very prominent cheekbones as is, so I like to follow that and just enhance it a little bit. If you find you've gone into beard region, just take your beauty blender and kind of carve that out a little bit, and it'll create a nice sharp contour. You could go ham for your nose contour, but for me, I just take this same brush, kind of pinch it, and then go down each side of my nose. I do have a very thin, fine nose as is, so I just like to add a little bit of shading there just so, you know, it looks cohesive with the rest of my face. I also do pop a little bit right underneath my bottom lip here. It will pop out your lips to make them look a little bit bigger. I typically do wear blush on a daily basis. I think that a look isn't complete without a little bit of blush, and the blush I have been using for 2 years has been the Baked Blush in Journey by NYX. This thing just gives you such a beautiful flush of color without being too overwhelming. It's like a satin finish. It doesn't really have a shimmer to it. It just gives some life back to your face, and this is stunning. And to top this look off, along with every other look, we need a highlight. I recently got my hands on this. This is the Gerard Cosmetics Star Powder. I have it in Sophia. That is what it looks like. It's like more of a goldish tinted highlighter, but I really do love this. I feel like it just gives me the right highlight, you know. This is a crown brush. Crown is usually at IMATs, or else you can order online. I love this brush. I believe it's just called Fan. I run this down the center of my nose and on my cupid's bow as well. That just will make your lipstick pop. And 100 years later, after we've piled on all of those products, this is the final product. This is what I have on pretty well every single day. If you see me on Instagram, this is my base makeup that I use. I love all of these products. I hope I helped some pale girls out there to find some appropriate shades and products for you guys. I know being pale is like the hardest thing to find great colors and foundations and contour products. If you have any video suggestions, please leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah.